all the favorites won and covered in the first week of the college football playoff, and Arizona State is the biggest underdog in the quarterfinal games. I think they're covering that number. That's Richie Bradshaw, Locked On Sun Devils. 13.5 points is the number I'm referring to there, Richie. Two reasons here why I think Arizona State hangs around in this game. Number one, they're the more rested team, so that helps at least a little bit. But number two, Texas has not made it a habit, especially in the last half of the season, of blowing a bunch of teams out. They blew out Florida, who was starting someone at quarterback that I believe is about as good as you and me throwing the football in that game. And, well, they scored 49 points. Yeah, that the quarterback shifts the dynamic there completely. But I look at this Arizona State team, Richie, and they throw the ball better than people give them credit for with Sam Leavitt. They've got a running back in Cam Scadaboo who, at the very least, can work to drain the clock and not let Texas's pass offense go crazy and get up and down the field. Keep them on the sideline a little bit. Those are the two reasons I look at and say, I do think Texas is going to win the game because I think they have more talent, but I think Arizona State keeps it closer than 2 touchdowns.
I do too, and don't get me wrong. And one of the things that you pointed out on one of your previous podcasts, which if you guys haven't listened to it, I think it's a really good example, is why is ASU and Boise State have these massive, disrespectful, quote unquote, spreads? It's because they kind of have to earn that right. Like, you're going up against Texas, you're going up against Penn State, you have to prove yourself. So I understand why ASU has a 13.5-point spread going up against one of the blue bloods of college football and one of the teams that has top to bottom, from starting quarterback to guys that are playing on special teams, one of the best, if not the best teams in college football. But they've not played up to their maximum potential. I've gotten in a lot of hot water with Texas fans for saying that. Like, this is a team that should be beating just about everyone they play by 20 plus. And they've played good football. They haven't played to their maximum potential. That shouldn't be an insult, but it just kind of is what it is. And meanwhile, ASU is playing to their max potential, and they are playing up to their opponents, and they're doing everything that they need to do to win football games. You saw against Iowa State with a great secondary, despite what anyone is trying to tell you otherwise. That is a great secondary with a lot of NFL players in it. ASU lit them up without Jordan Tyson, and Sam Leavitt is just able to throw the ball around the yard. And now he makes a comment that he wants to prove he's better than Quinn Ewers and puts a target on his back. And, that's on him. You make a comment like that, you're going to swing up, you better hit him. But I have the confidence in the coaching staff to create an offense that's going to have success for Sam Leavitt, even without Jordan Tyson, against an elite secondary. My question is, can you hold up against Colin Simmons in that pass rush? But Scadaboo's still going to get his work done. ASU, far more talented than Texas fans want to believe and acknowledge. I do think this is going to be a closer game than they think. And we'll see, man. Like, they should blow us out based off the talent, but I don't think they will.
I thought Sam Leavitt's strategy was a bold one to make that statement. He wants to prove he's better than Quinn Ewers. It was a bold strategy. We'll see how it plays out for him. But what was that?
I said it's because he is.
Oh, okay. I'm sure nobody will have any thoughts on that whatsoever.
No, definitely
hearing
not my
such
previous
remark.
podcasts.
Certainly not. But what I was most impressed with on Arizona State's side in that Big 12 championship game, and yeah, Texas has a significantly better defense, but I expect Cam Scadaboo to go crazy. I expect him to be one of the most fun to watch players in all of college football, the people's running back, if you will. And
who calls him that?
Some weird podcast hosts out there, but I think
There's a lot of those.
It's a good thing he can come up with every once in a while. So I think that Sam Leavitt's play in that game without Jordan Tyson was incredibly encouraging. And then you contrast that with what Cade Klubnik just did against Texas. This is a nasty front four. Cam Scadaboo can be as good as he wants, but if you can't push around at least a little bit the Texas front defenders, he's not going to have a great day, at least running the football. Of course, they throw it to him as well, and he's been a prolific pass catcher this season. But this game, to me, comes down to Sam Leavitt. He has to make the sorts of plays that Cade Klubnik did to claw Clemson back into that game. And I know it was a 14-point game when it was all said and done. That was thanks to a goal line stand. I'm not taking away from Texas for that. I'm just saying that other scores like Indiana lost by 10. That game wasn't that close, right? That wasn't a 10-point game. And even Tennessee was lost 42-17. Look, it was even worse than that, quite frankly.
Interesting.
The game that Clemson played against Texas was closer to me than what the final score indicate. You are one better play call or execution or one block away from it suddenly being a touchdown game with 5 minutes to go, and Texas can't just run out the clock with a 2-touchdown lead. They have to, suddenly figure out a way to sustain a drive, maybe go down, get points. It's a different dynamic there. So that's another reason that I look at Texas, and they've played teams like Kentucky, and you go, that's okay. They played Texas A&M, and their defense was great, and their offense, it's all right. It's okay. Brian Ward has had a lot of time to prepare. I think he has that Arizona State defense ready to go. So I do think Texas wins the game, but give me Arizona State to make this one competitive. I don't know about nail-biting down to a single play at the end, but I think Arizona State has got the tools for it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. When I have been previewing this on Locked On Sun Devils, as I said that Sam Leavitt is definitively the biggest X factor in this game. Not only just because he put the weight of the world on his shoulders, even though he already had it there for being the starting quarterback, he's going to have to step up and play against tooth and nails, one of the best defenses in the country, with NFL players that are true freshmen and that are graduate players. And he's going to have to do it without Jordan Tyson. He's still got Scadaboo, and he's still got a cast of really good pass catchers. Like, the weapons are there, and I trust Marcus Arroyo, the offense coordinator, more than anything to dial up an offense that maybe you can't see some of the receivers separating by themselves, but the scheme that he's going to be able to open up here will be able to help create the separation that will allow Sam Leavitt to get the ball to them. To me, this game, with Sam Leavitt being the biggest X factor, I think this game comes down to special teams. ASU, horrific kicking field goals.
Really bad.
Texas,
really bad.
Also really, really bad. When I have my game day prediction for this game come out,
I think ASU's been worse.
Yeah,
than
no.
Texas.
I'm not saying ASU has been better. I'm saying they're both really bad. When my bold predictions come out, this game, I'm going to have it close, and it's basically going to come down to one or two special teams plays. If a team misses a field goal, if there's bad field positioning on a punt, God forbid something gets blocked, I think that something like that is going to happen in this game, and I think that's what decides this football game.
One thing that I come back to as well before we drop our score predictions to wrap up this segment is Sam Leavitt's the X factor for that Arizona State offense. Defensively, though, for the Sun Devils, I think they need to take away the Texas running game. Because remember, when Clemson got to within a touchdown, how did Texas rebuild that lead? With a big explosive run. If I'm Brian Ward, I'm daring Quinn Ewers to be the guy, and it's a dice roll. If Quinn Ewers is on and you're saying, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of one-on-one, see if you can make the throws, you're going to have problems because he's really good. But the fluctuations with Quinn Ewers' game, to me, that's a better thing to rely on for Arizona State than saying, well, we want to take away whatever you do. You cannot let Texas run the football. If you do, then my score prediction will be wrong, and Texas will cover the 13.5. If you tell me right now Texas goes over 175 rushing, they will win the game by 17 to 20 points.
I trust ASU's run defense to hold them under 175. I trust them to keep Texas at a point where Ewers has to be more involved in the game. And you put him in that position, and Ewers is a great quarterback. He can win you a national championship. I truly believe that. I love Quinn Ewers. But Texas is in a much better spot to win football games when he doesn't have to put everything on his back. And I think Arizona State is going in with the mentality of, look, we're going to have a hard time stopping the run because of how good he is, but we're a good run defense. And if we can make Quinn Ewers have to take the game by himself, that's where I like ASU's chances over Texas. I trust Sam Leavitt more than I trust Quinn Ewers. Quinn, he's great, but we know what he is. There's times he just doesn't make the best decisions.
He's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So if ASU can push Texas into a point where Ewers has to be the reason they win, they have a shot.
I've got Texas 27-17. Your score prediction, good sir.
So they cover. I love that. I, of course, am going to take ASU to win this game. I wouldn't not be able to. No matter what, I would take them to cover, but I will take ASU 28-27.
The horn, the fork. The
Yep,
horn,
I'll
the
give-
fork. The
I'll give you the
battle
fork.
of
I'm
some
not gonna do the other
quality,
one.
quality hand signals there. Richie Bradshaw, quality host himself. Locked on Sun Devils. Appreciate it as always, my man.